Hello, folks. How you doing? All right. I want to talk about the plea not to die the second death. Okay. There's been misinterpretations about this, and I thought I would say something about it. Uh, actually, it's not a physical death, as some folks have interpreted. Okay. Some folks sort of thought that this second death had to do with a person who belonged to, let's say, the temple, an initiate in the temple, who backed out, sidetracked, left the temple with secrets and so forth, and it had been said that this initiate, this person, had been killed physically because he had secrets which were like classified information when it came to the folks in the temples. Okay, they didn't want their secrets given out, shared with anyone. And that probably applies to today too, but the secrets of the temples, wherever they are, whatever the secrets are, they like to keep their secrets. Okay, so it wasn't this plea for not to die the second death. Actually, had nothing to do with physical death. Okay, it had to do with a novice in a temple who was going through the initiation process, who felt like he might be having problems going through the process. Okay, and would not become an initiate. Okay, which is very important to him. So he, because he felt like he was having some difficulty getting through the process, he made his plea, you see, that he didn't want to die the second death. And he might cry out, he would say, he doesn't want to fall into the jaws of the crocodile. Okay. And he didn't want to be stung by the serpent or devoured by the serpent. But this serpent happened to be the serpent of temptation. He didn't want to fall in the temple and have to go back out into the world, experiencing the worldly life, because he had got a taste, we should say, of the afterlife. Or he had got a taste of a true life as defined by the priests of the temple. Meaning that those folks who had not entered the temple and went through an initiation were not really living life. They were sort of amongst the dead, in this sense. In other words, you simply were not living life if you had not been trained by the folks in the temple, or if you had not in some way accomplished living life on your own. You see, this has to do with spiritual attainment to the fields of knowledge of self. In other words, they're saying that if a person doesn't have knowledge of himself or herself, they're really not living life. Okay. So the initiate says that he doesn't want to be stung by the serpent of temptation. He doesn't want to have to go back out into the worldly life where temptation is everywhere, which is true. He wanted to overcome all that by remaining in the temple and being successful. So this going back to the world of temptation is to die the second death. The first death occurred when he was out there, but he was brought into the temple. He got away from death. He got into the temple and was going through his studies, etc., and was gaining a taste of life while he was there. You see. But when failure approached him, well, it frightened him. And so he made his plea that he did not want to go back to earthly life. So there was no physical death involved, you see. It was simply failing as a novice in the temple. So that's the idea of the second death. Okay, folks, thank you, and subscribe. I have a lot more to talk about, and I'm sure you'll be interested in most of what I have to say. Okay, have a good one, and see you next time. Okay, bye-bye.